Well, they are two of a kind. Both are lies. Napo lied about Mahama. Maybe unlike Dr. Bawumia, he had a little decency coming years later to admit that he lied about Mahama. You remember when the free SHS program was launched, 2017 or 2018, there was a problem with admissions, and an admission verification exercise was held at the Black Star Square, where parents and guardians went to do placements of their wards. And it was so chaotic. And Apo had the sheer audacity, the indecency, I should say, to say that it was John Mahama who has passed all the parents and guardians to the Master Square, his very worst, or Kwabrania Kohai, Basis, Nodi, a man for Akugu was who cause trouble. Very indecent. But, like I said earlier, they are two of a kind. I'm not surprised that they are matched together, because the situation that the MPP finds itself in, it needs to continue with this politics of bravado, of lies, of insisting that its version of the reality is the right version. The MPP, as we know, is a fascist party that prides itself in two behavioral characteristics: self-glorification and self-denial. Self-glorification of its mediocre performance in everything. For 8 years, we have seen how they have run down not only the economy, but the moral fiber of this country has been destroyed. Their fascism stands clear in terms of state capture, cronyism, nepotism. I mean, the evidence is there, so there is no need for me to belabor the point. So they need Napo. Whether their strategic thinking that because of the forceful nature of Napo, he can impress upon the rest of the country beyond Malaysia to vote for the MPP is something that will be tested in December 7th. I was born in the same area as Napo. His family house is just about 300 meters from my family house. We both hail from there. But I've met Napo only once because I was not in the country when he was born. I'm about 20 or more years older than Napo, so he's not my mate at all. Kufua and his brother were my mates, or age groups. But his public image cannot certainly endear him and the campaign of the MPP to the public. His utterances, arrogant, disrespectful, incredibly haughty. But I'm not surprised, because in the area where he and I were born, that's how they play their politics. That's how they played the politics in the 60s and the 50s and 60s. And they haven't changed. So that's what I have to say.
So is that to suggest that you think for the Ashanti region, he's a good choice?
Obviously, but they forget to add the rider that in the Ashanti region, you can dress anybody in MPP colors and they will win, whether it's good or bad. But when it comes to the national level, that will be a different kettle of fish. Of course, accounts may be endeared to him because for accounts, politics is an emotional thing. So long as the person wears an MPP colors, that person is okay to follow. Doesn't matter whether that person is the source of the hardship that he's going through. What matters is that the MPP has won. Whether I'm gaining or losing, to the Ashanti man, especially those bred in Malaysia, where I was born, where I saw how politics were played, where I saw the brutality, where I saw the new barbarism of Matthew people, and yate, that kind of thing. That's the way they see politics. Not with a national interest side, but with a parochial partisan side.
Because this has been a region where there has been no shortage of people expressing their disenchantment with the performance of this government, with the state of the economy, among others. You're suggesting that per your knowledge of your region, there's no way they will change despite the difficulties that confront them?
Yes, they will still vote for the MPP. Though I don't know how much votes they will gather beyond what they are traditionally entitled to by with reference to the unbreakable loyalty of the Ashanti to the MPP. Most of the votes that the NDC gets, the Ashanti region, comes from what you call the foreigners. Yes, but a pure Ashanti man votes for MPP. And me, I'm a pure Ashanti man. My mother and father came from the same village, Apradi, which is within Kumasi Metro. From Tech, the first railway line you come to is where my village is. It's called Apradi, opposite Fumasha. So I know what I'm talking about, and I've seen it, and I grew up in it. I grew up in an MPP house that came to hate MPP for what they did, what I saw.
I see. Look, you're also someone who takes strategy seriously. And if you look at the way elections play out in Ghana, but in 2008, the MPP were only doing Ashanti and Eastern, and they nearly still took the votes and won the elections. But for your approach,
they stole a lot of votes. They padded a lot of votes in 6 of the constituencies in Kumasi because of the actions of the person I was with in the strong room. He allowed Jacob Chibilante and Kandapa to take the F-27 the F-28 to Kumasi to change the results at the regional level 3 days after those constituencies had come in, but they still couldn't make up the numbers. Like Prof said, Tony, I know God will make me the president. And it was true. The machinations and trickery and theft of Akufo-Addo and the MPP couldn't make him president in 2008.
Beyond the matter of election, is this a pair for Ghana? If this pair somehow wins, I'm asking whether this is a pair for Ghana. If this pair somehow pulls off an election victory, would it take Ghana to where we need to be, at least deal with our current difficulties?
No, it won't. It won't. Not with the kind of partisan politics that we are having. You see, what the extreme partisan politics in this country is doing is that we have this 8-year cycle or 4-year cycle or whatever, which means nothing more than the circulation of members of a political class. One party comes in, sack all the operatives of the previous party in government from government offices, holders of government portfolios and so on and so forth, and replace them. And not only that, destroy the businesses of persons deemed to be affiliated with the party that has been defeated, and installs its own entrepreneurs and business people. This is what we call chronic capitalism. In addition to nepotism, state capture, and so on and so on. So the cycle is a stop-go policy, stop-go management of the national economy, stop-go administration of the society. And this will not help. And more so because the country itself is compelled to operate within the small periphery of capitalism, global capitalism. Its resources are extracted and the returns are negligible. The whole economy is an extractive economy. All the investments that come into the country go into the extractive and service areas and not into production areas beneficial to the country, because our politics is getting more expensive and the politician need money, and he will sell the national interest to further his or her own interest, her own partisan political interest. Dubious companies are invited into the country. They come in, make maximum profit, he gets a share. And that's all he cares about, and not the wider interests of the nation. I am praying that John Mahama comes to power in December 27, 2024. But I'm hereby giving a warning that if within 6 months of his accession to power in 2025, we do not see any process of prosecuting all these MPP people who are stolen from Ghana, we will start, if I'm still alive, I'll start campaigning against him. We don't want the fiasco of 2009 when we made legal boo-boos and allowed them to run away with it. This country has suffered too much. Even though I wouldn't say I have suffered, but I know people who have suffered. I see people who have suffered through the theft of politicians.